For the last 70,000 years, we were dealing with intangible stuff.
That life has been made so much easy due to digital transformation.
If you are trying to make a change, because we have to make a change, when the compute is big, the parameters are big, the output is pretty close to what we expect. So that's why we are scaling it so fast.
Hello, beautiful people from all around the world. How's it been? How's it going? How's life treating you? Well, I really hope that everything is going well on that end. I'm Malisha, your host for this episode, so let's get started. So, here's a question for you. Are you someone who is struggling on a day to day basis with a lots and lots of paper? And have you been thinking to yourself recently, why am I still doing this in paper? Isn't there any way to get out of this? Well, you know what? Your struggle has been heard. So, welcome to another episode of the Paperless Chat. Of course, I'm not the only one who is going to sit here all day and talk to you because, yes, we do have a special guest with us who is going to talk about the digital transformation wave and why it's high time for us to leave those papers away and get into the digital transformation journey. So, without further ado, here I am going to introduce you to the special guest of the show today, Malinda Alahakoon. Welcome to the show, Malinda.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Malinda, for taking time out of your life and being with us in this episode today to shed light on so many topics. And we will definitely be having so much discussion to give so much insights as well to our audience. So, Malinda, we did ask our audience, so it's time to ask you. How's the day's been treating you so far?
It's pretty good.
All right. Nice. So, Malinda, you do know that we are going to have a lot of discussion throughout this chat, and definitely I'm going to throw you a lot of questions throughout our chat. So, here goes the first one. In a single sentence, tell us who is Malinda Alahakoon?
Yeah, I'm a teacher and a science communicator.
Wonderful, wonderful. Right, Malinda. Now, today's topic is going to be about digital transformation and, of course, why it's high time that we, move away from the papers, leave all those paper classes behind, and why it is the right time to get into that digital transformation journey. So, when we say digital transformation, it's such a powerful word, isn't it? So, everything that's running around this world is digital, right? For the past few decades, digital has been running the entire world so far, and that is the way forward as well. And even today, you and me sitting together and talking to each other is possible because of digital transformation. And this entire arrangement was done with a just exchange of messages. That means that life has been made so much easy due to digital transformation. So, Malinda, I want to know in your perspective, in 3 words, what is digital transformation to you?
Yes, the first word I would pick is efficiency.
Right.
So exactly what you said, like we could arrange this thing. Like if you use snail mail for this one, then
Oh
we are
my
still
God.
we are still sending the first mail actually.
Mail, actually, yes.
Then the competitiveness. So competitiveness. Then third one is actually it's tied together. The market-driven operations. So we are running an open market,
Yes.
and we have to compete, and we have to get a competitive edge. So we have to be faster than other people. We have to be efficient than other people. So that's why that's the main idea of digital transformation to me.
Perfect, perfect. I mean, that are the 3 best words that you can ever think of when you think of digital transformation. Well, Malinda, here's another question for you. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting one, okay? And I want you to answer this as a science communicator, right? So, we do know that Malinda is a passionate science communicator. And here's a question for you. When it comes to organizations and startups now, they want to disrupt, right? They want innovation to keep going, right? So I want to know what kind of mindset should organizations as well as startups who want to disrupt and keep innovating should have, at the same time also keep themselves away from all these paper-based processes like signing on a piece of paper or having papers around them. How can they get rid of all those traditional ways and keep innovating? What kind of mindset should they have to do this?
Yeah, the step one should be like if you have this mindset to disrupt everything, you should get rid of it.
Of
We are
course.
not here to disrupt anything. We are here to solve problems.
Yes.
So you should listen to the market. Then let's say there are a huge group of people and they have a problem, and we can solve that problem by getting rid of their papers. Then we should pay attention to it. So when you're looking at that kind of opportunities, there are two kind of opportunities. One is like you can take one shot and make $1 million.
Right.
Then you can take million shots, and each shot is gonna give you $1. So you have to look at that kind of markets. Oh, there are some very rare markets like you can take million shots and each shot gonna give you a million, but those are pretty rare. But you have to look at problems. Then money is actually the agreement between two different peoples. Like I solve your problem and you agree to the fact that I actually solve your problem. So that agreement is represented as money. So we are not here to make money, we are here to solve problems. So we have to look into the ROIs and all these other nitty-gritties in the market. So when you listen to the market, you actually see the problems, your true problems of people. Then you come up with a solution, test it, refine it, and continue. That's the mindset that I suggest all the people to have if you are planning to do innovative stuff and disrupt the market. So most of the time, like when we are doing this kind of stuff, we don't know what we are doing. We know that there's a problem. Sometimes we don't even know that there's a problem. We try something, and that thing is solving a problem which was invisible for decades sometimes. So like social networks,
Yes.
we didn't know that we need social
Needed social network in the first place. Exactly.
So that's how things are happening. But if you are trying to make a change, because we have to make a change in that ideological standpoint, that's toxic. So what we really should do is like we should try to solve a problem, and that solution might be a disruptive solution.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Malinda, speaking of which, now there are organization startups who wants to also solve a problem and have disruptive innovation that can entirely change the world. But also there's a specific crowd of people, when you say them about digital transformation, they got shunned away, right? Because they're so reluctant in adopting digital processes. Now, again, you are a passionate science communicator, and I want to know this in a mindset perspective. So, is there any kind of psychological reasons, or even if there is any kind of evolutionary reasons that are attached to this fact of why people are so reluctant toward going into a digital process, like, and why it keeps us so attached to tangible objects like paper? Is there any kind of reasons for it?
Right. Like if you walk around and ask people like why you don't like digital transformation, why you're so attached to papers, uh, I'm pretty sure that lots of people will tell you that they're concerned about security.
Right.
So you can lock a paper away in a vault, but you can do the same thing with the digital assets as well. But we heard lots of stories that that thing is stolen, this thing is hacked, so they have this fear. So we as professionals, we have to address it. So that's our job. Like we have to give them the assurance that now we know that banking system is safe, right?
Yes.
We swipe a credit card, we know it's safe. It's going to take time, but we have to keep proving it.
Okay.
The other thing is, as you said, as human beings, we were living on this planet for like what 250,000 years. We were dealing with all the tangible stuff, but for the last 70,000 years, we were dealing with intangible stuff like deities, deities and myths and that kind of stuff. So we are capable of dealing with intangible stuff as well. So our human uh, whole the civilization's existence is depending on intangible stuff, like the fictions that we made, like money, right? It's not really there in the nature, so we invent it. It's a story that we build to exchange value. So then we have legal systems. So why not papers? So yes, we have that. Like I know lots of people when they're reading a book, they want to touch the book, feel it, smell it. But maybe down the time, we will probably be wearing a VR headset and reading a book, experience something. It's gonna take time. So as professionals, our job is to make this technology polished, so lots of people can easily use it. Smartphone. So back in the days, like using phone was a hassle. Now the operating systems are pretty smooth, so lots of people are automatically using it. Even like my parents and the grandparents can use the phone today, but not the case like 10, maybe 20 years ago. So that's the main idea. And there's another thing, like let's say there's a company, and that company want to have a digital document management system.
Okay.
Right? So then when they look at the initial cost, the initial investment, it's pretty high.
Okay.
Can't have it,
Yes.
right? So you have to get the software, you have to get the right scanners and all the other stuff.
Yes.
Then that could be a problem for some people. So because they know that the ROI is gonna be there, but the payback period is like, let's say 12 years, maybe 7 years, like that kind of answers are popping up. So again, we have to come up with creative solutions like subscription models, cloud-based services. So
Of
then lots
course.
of people can start with minimum initial investment. So those are the main reasons.
That's actually a good point, Malinda. Talking about, subscription model and cloud-based solution are one of the best ways where organization can get their digital transformative journey started without fearing about the initial cost involved. And that's a great point, Malinda. And as professionals, it's our responsibility to acknowledge the audience out there that solutions like these are also available, so you don't have to fear about the cost involved that's going to be there initially, or even the security reasons, because everything is there in place, and it's just a matter of creating that awareness so that people will slowly get into this digital transformation journey and see the perks around it. Okay, now Malinda, I'm going to give you a statement and I want to know whether you agree with it or not. Okay.
Right.
So when it comes to digital transformation, or we can also say it going green, going paperless, or going digital, now when I say all of this, I think that it is more of a shift in the organization's culture rather than just adapting to digital solutions only. What do you think about it?
Yes, that's true, because end of the day, people make changes,
Of-
not the machines or technologies.
Yes.
But when it comes to those ideological changes, like, okay, everybody's talking about going green. So usually when I see this kind of question, I ask like, why 5 times? Why should we go green?
Hmm.
Okay, we are protecting the environment. So why should we protect the environment? So this most of the time, this going green movement is getting stuck at the level 2 or maybe 3. So because lots of people trying to save the planet, but I'm pretty sure that planet will take care of itself. We have to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. So because like we live on this planet for like what, 250,000 years, but planet lived for like what, 5 billion years. So planet is much bigger. We are small part of this planet, so we can't save this planet. We can save ourselves. So
Yes.
that's what we did for the last 250,000, maybe 150,000 years.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, like, we have to protect our business.
Of
So
course.
that's what we are trying to. We are trying to solve the problems. So in that case, uh, we come up with a solution. We come up with a smartphone with the greatest camera, but people are not using it. Then there's no point. So we had to do that cultural change. So if you remember when Steve Jobs, when he was introducing the front-facing camera in the smartphone, so he introduced the word selfie,
Selfie, yes.
right? So it was there before, but he popularized it.
Yes,
So
yes.
so then now that there's a huge selfie culture.
Of course.
So originally that camera was there for video conferencing, FaceTime, and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But now that I'm pretty sure lots of people are using it for selfies.
Selfie is much
Yeah.
popular than
So
the
that's a
video
classic example. We need the culture in right place and the
Right.
technology to work. So if we are trying to go paperless, so we have to ask the right questions first. We have to make the requirement less dumb. So making the requirement less dumb means, like, we are in a business. Why are we here? We are here to make profit.
Profit.
We are not here to save the universe, so planet or anything. We are here to make profit. Like, we can like sugarcoat it with other stuff, but come on, like, we are all the businesses are here to make profit.
Profit,
So make
yeah.
the requirement less dumb. So this is step number 1. Then you can ask right questions and come up with right answers.
Perfect. That's perfect, Malinda. Okay, now it's time to get into the myth and fact segment. Okay, so Malinda, what we're going to do right here is that I'll be throwing a few statements at you,
Okay.
and you're going to tell me, in your perspective, is that a myth or a fact, and also why. Here's the first statement for you. Digital transformation is today's survival of the fittest for organizations. Do you think it's a myth or a fact, and why?
It's definitely a fact, because we are going paperless for one reason. We have to improve the efficiency. Why are we improving the efficiency? We have to be competitive in the market. So if you can't be efficient, you can't be competitive in the market, then again, it's a survival game.
Right.
Yeah.
Nicely
Yeah.
explained, actually. Next one for you, Malinda. Here you go. Going paperless, okay, is very expensive than traditional paperwork. Do you think it's a myth or a fact?
It's a myth. It's a myth. Maybe in the short run, like when you look at the next few months, it will be expensive. But if you take a look at the next few years, maybe next few decades, it's going to be far cheaper because lots of organization going paperless. And other than like the return on investment or the payback period and stuff, it's so much easier to do things.
Of course.
So much easier to do things. But we have this little resistance to change, so that's why people don't like to do it. But I don't really like to acknowledge the fact that it's expensive. It's a myth.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Because just imagine like how many papers that we still have lying around us, where we can, solve all of those paper trouble with just acquiring one or two tools in the
Yeah.
organization,
So
right?
yeah,
Like an e-signature solution, for an example,
true.
right?
Like there's a significant probability that we have solved the problem of the cancer, the
Yeah.
disease. But those knowledge is scattered across lots of papers.
Of course.
So throughout the history, now that as last time I checked, it's IBM.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to get all those things into one place and digitalize everything and put some kind of artificial intelligence to go through all the papers, and maybe we have already solved it, but
Yeah.
we don't know because the knowledge is scattered. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Now, here's another statement for you, Malinda. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting one,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure that will interest our audience too. Digital transformation is only for tech companies.
Myth. Because I was working with lots of universities for the past 10 years. So most of the universities were completely paperless. So because we are doing operations in different countries, so all the assignment submission, and the university is most certainly not a tech company. We are an education company. So going paperless solve lots of problem for us. So digital comments, annotations on assignments. So they upload everything to students, upload everything to the LMS. Then we have this interface, so we can annotate it,
Yes.
give them comments, and all those things are happening in real time. So no, you can think of a lot more industries which are not technology companies,
Yes.
but they are using a lot of papers. They can easily get rid of all of those things with digital systems.
Perfect. Perfect. That's a good acknowledgement for our audience. Of course, digital transformation is not just for tech companies, people, it's for every industry out there who is struggling with papers on a day to day basis. Okay, Malinda. Now, here's another interesting one. Okay. Small companies do not benefit as much from going paperless as the larger ones do. Do you agree? I mean, do you think it's a myth or a fact?
It's a little mixed because like if you're a small company, you probably be okay with like throwing papers around here and there. And if you try to get a digital system, then it might be beyond your reach, like when you take a look at your checkbooks. So it's mixed. But my recommendation is like even if you're a small company, there are small solutions so you can get the culture rolling. Otherwise, like after a certain point, you're a big company.
Yes.
Then now that you need a digital transformation, you can get the tools, but you can't get the people ready.
Exactly.
So it's mixed. Yes, when it comes to money, for small companies, it's limited.
Yeah.
But I still strongly recommend it because at a certain point, you're going to need it. At that time, you can get the tools, but then the people are not ready. So you should prepare your people way in advance.
From the beginning itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always better to start everything at the beginning, especially when it comes
True.
to going digital rather than going after your organization becomes a big one. Then it will be a little bit of a struggle. But if you're there from the beginning, then the journey is going to be much more smooth and easier, right, Malinda?
Yeah.
Perfect. So here's another one for you. So see, even if organization wants to go digital, some of the employees within the company resist this change. They don't want to go paperless because they still prefer traditional paperwork. Do you think it's a myth or a fact?
Still a myth.
Okay.
Because people don't really have a preference for papers or digital systems, and they most of the time, like when this kind of transformation is happening, they don't even know what a digital system looks like. So like let's say I want to buy a car and there's a car called X. I'm saying that I hate it, but I have never seen it, so how can I hate it? So that problem is there. So I don't really think they don't like digital systems, or they prefer papers. It's resistant to change.
Right.
So if we can slowly roll out the system, and then they can understand the benefits and give them the proper training, then slowly they'll understand that these digital systems are going to make their life much easier.
Right.
Then they'll accept it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now here's a sneaky one for you. Okay. Now people think this is a marketing gimmick. Okay. Digital transformation has a positive impact on the environment. So do you think it is a myth or a fact in calling it a marketing gimmick?
Uh, I think it's strongly ideologically driven.
Okay.
Uh, uh, when it comes to the environment, like it's a fact that the humans are destroying the environment in a certain sense. But at the same time, humans are also part of environment.
Exactly.
So if the humans are thriving and we are destroying something else, so how come the environment is destroyed? Because we are here and we are also part of environment. So I don't really like to go there. So like if we are part of environment, so the beaver is building dams.
Yeah.
It's a miracle of Mother Nature, and we are also building dams.
Exactly.
So it's a damage to
part
the
of the nature
environment.
too.
It's a damage to the environment. So let's say alien orbiting the planet Earth and looking at us, look at those animals, like they're building dams. Pretty cool. Miracle of Mother Nature, the Victoria Dam, right?
Yeah.
But we don't really see it that way. So it's strongly ideologically driven. So I don't really like to go there. But
Okay.
still, we have very good reasons to go paperless.
Right.
I mentioned them a couple of times during this conversation already, efficiency and the problem solving and that kind of stuff. But environment, I'm not really sure about it. Like lots of people saying that like we have reduced the carbon footprint. Again, like we have to ask the question like, why should we reduce the carbon footprint? So then it's emitting carbon dioxide, and
Yeah.
it's leading to the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is actually making the planet warmer.
Yeah.
Then the ice caps in north and south will melt, and seawater
The level
level
will
will
rise.
go. Really, like really, are you sure about it? Nobody's sure about it. That might happen, but about 12,000 years ago, the northern ice cap was like down to Washington.
Okay.
That melted.
Okay.
Like, did we do it? We were hunter gatherers back then.
Okay.
So that's a natural cycle called Milankovitch cycle. So it's a huge system. Like we are puny humans. Like we can't affect it. Like we can't do anything to change it, or maybe we'll do a like mild impact towards
yeah.
it. But we have to solve our own problems
Okay.
rather than solving the planet's problem. Planet is a much bigger system.
It can take care of itself.
Planet will take care of itself. We have to solve our own problem, our
Yeah.
food, then our efficiency, our civilization. So that would be my priority.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, Malinda, I want to shift the gears to AI, which is the buzzword and the talk of the town right now, right?
Sure.
Okay, now here's a myth, or it could be a fact, and I'm going to shoot this at you. Okay, it's a statement. The more AI you use, the less secure your data becomes. What do you think about this?
It's a myth.
Okay.
Like let's say let's think about system, no AI, only classical algorithms are used. So in that case, like you are having a bad firewall, bad networking practices, bad information backups, and you have like highly secure server, but the backup is not secured, and that kind of bad practices, then your information is going to be hacked, and there's a danger regardless of AI. It's not about AI or not AI or classical algorithms or whatever. It's about the good implementation practices.
Exactly. Yeah, how secure you build your platforms around. So it's nothing to do with AI
Nothing
at all.
to do with AI, yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Malinda, e-signatures. When we talk about that specific e-signature, you see, for me, it is one of the best ways that organizations can take to lessen the paperwork, right?
Yes.
Because you don't need to still be signing your documents on paper when you have e-signatures, because there are so much disadvantages involved when you handle with paperwork, especially to sign documents. So, for example, if you think of like in an office environment, think of a policy document, right? And that has to be distributed across like 30, 40 people. And now currently we are in a remote culture, a hybrid culture working, and just to sign a piece of paper, you can't get your entire office down, right? So in those cases, e-signatures can really come in handy. Now there's also a myth, or it could be a fact about it. All right.
Okay.
Now I'm going to shoot that at you, and you're going to tell me whether it's a myth or a fact. Usage of e-signatures to lessen paper is just a fact, and it won't last.
It's a myth.
Okay.
E-signature is proven tool because we got this. Okay, you know what, like the pandemic happened, it turned out to be a golden opportunity for
Yes.
remote works and paperless systems and stuff. So now that we are pretty sure that we can have a remote organization, and we call it the frogs, the fully remote organizations possible. I'm running one actually. My team is remote. So and all the e-signatures, it's a proven business tool. So if you ask me this question back in 2016-17 time, then I might say it's mixed, but
Okay.
now it's proven.
It's proven pretty
proven,
much,
yeah.
right? Right. Okay. Now, Malinda, here's the next question for you. Okay. Now I know the answer pretty well for this, but I'm just going to get your perspective, an interesting perspective from you. Okay. Paper is the enemy of productivity.
Mm, it's a myth. I don't really think there's nothing to do with papers. It's about the workflows and the way you function. So, like, let's say there are some solid organizations, very efficient organizations who are using papers, but their workflow is so good, so they are working efficiently. So, it's not about papers. Uh, it's about some stuff happen when we are using papers to communicate with lots of locations. So it's not about papers. Like if you have better solution, then go ahead with it. But in some cases, like let's say you need superb security, then you print everything, destroy all the digital records, put that in a vault, and like you have armored cars and all the F-22 flying around it, then no one can steal it, right? But yeah, then you can do the same thing with digital assets as well.
Exactly.
Put the same thing in the same facility, and you have a server. Put your digital assets there, and all the armored cars and the F-22 flying around. No one can steal it. No internet connection.
Exactly.
So then, if you want to access it, you have to go there. Then everyone will verify you and access the terminal and get the data. So it's not about papers or going paperless. It's about your workflows.
It's about the workflows,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you can easily also implement like a document management system and do the same thing, right? Because there are secure document management solutions which people can acquire to, secure their documents, their digital documents. That also will have all those verification techniques that you just spoke
True.
about. So there are better ways to do
And
things, right?
yeah, and the selective accessors. Then we have the document redaction, and
Exactly.
all those things are there.
Okay, Malinda, here's a last statement for you. Okay, this is a little bit of an interesting one, and we are getting back to AI in this statement. Okay, AI will soon replace all human roles. What do you think? It's a myth or a fact?
You mean soon, right? Like
Soon.
it's a myth. Like it's a myth because I'm pretty sure that AI will augment humans.
Okay.
But replacing human is a whole different game because most of the time, most of the AI technologies we are using today are basically crunching numbers.
Exactly.
That's not how human brain is. Human brain has this general world model. Like I'm looking at you, but I know the camera is there,
Yeah.
even though I can't see it. But when I look at the camera, I anticipate it. If it wasn't there, then I'll be panicked. So that's how the human brain is working. So we have a general world model. So I can't see what's there, but I know there are a bunch of computers and people working. So I know it's there. But when I turn and see it, if it's not there, then I'll panic. So that's how the human brain is working because we have a world model. But so we can reason. So I know that I can sit on this. But the current AI models, largely transformers and the diffusion models, they don't have a world model. They simply crunch numbers and give us an output. When the compute is big, the parameters are big, the output is pretty close to what we expect. So that's why we are scaling it so fast. Those models can't replace humans, but they can augment humans for sure. And it's already happening. I'm using different AI tools every day for different purposes, but they can't replace me. But they can. Of course, they can't replace me. I don't really think that any AI tool can replace coders. We still need coders, but maybe 30-40% of the code can be AI generated.
AI generated. Exactly.
And improve the efficiency a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. So that gives us to the end of the segment, and we'll be catching on with another segment, Malinda, and that is going to be this or that, and what do you prefer? Okay. So, Malinda, you see, millions and millions of trees have been cut down to produce papers also. right? And most of these papers are ending up in office spaces, which get wasted away most of the time. Okay, so in that case, right, planting a tree for every paper used or going on a full digital transformation journey, what would you prefer?
Right. If you are doing any kind of digital transformation, as I said multiple times before, you should do it for right reasons.
Yes.
We are doing a digital transformation to save trees. Like, let's say we destroy all the trees, then we'll die. Trees will grow back.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to protect ourselves.
Exactly.
Right. So we have to take care of our business. So you have to do it for the right reason, not for the superficial ideological reasons. So we are going digital to improve efficiency,
Exactly.
improve the communication speeds.
And
Then we have friction in our workflow. Get rid of it. Maybe delete a step in our workflow for that kind of stuff. Not because of, like, okay, let's say you are saying that when we are using papers, paper pulp need tree barks and stuff.
Yeah.
Then we plant a tree. I don't really think that's going to be a viable solution.
Right.
So that's not a very good reason for us to go digital. The actual reason is efficiency, productivity, workflows, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, perfect. Now, Malinda, we have been talking so much about all this serious stuff. Now, I want to ask a funky one. Okay? So even I have my doubts about it. I prefer that or this, based on how the Monday would look like. But here's what it is. What would you prefer, Friday nights or Saturday nights?
I would say Thursday night.
Oh my God, that's completely different.
Because like I understand, like I could have said Friday night because like end of the productive week.
Yes.
But I usually work from Sunday to Thursday.
Okay. Okay.
Because like I'm working with like in our workflow, I do the research and scripting and shooting and stuff. Then it should be passed on to the editors.
Exactly.
So then they are working from Monday to Friday. So I'm working from Sunday to Thursday. So you get the point, right? So there has to be at least 1 day overlap between the workflow steps. So Thursday night would be nice because yeah, then I have Friday and Saturday off. So yeah, end of productive week.
End of the productive week. So Thursday night it is for Malinda. So if you want to catch him up for a drink, you can go ahead and meet Malinda on a Thursday night, and he'll be all funky and nice.
Totally.
All right. So here goes the last one, Malinda. Now this is a little bit of a controversial one. So you see, convincing people to do something and educating people to do something are two different things, right? So in terms of that, convincing someone into a digital transformation journey or educating someone into a digital transformation journey, what do you think is the easiest?
Educating. Because when it comes to convincing, most of the time it leads to two different things. When we try to convince people, most of the time they get confused, right? Or they'll believe it blindly when we try to convince people. So then we are pushing them some kind of superficial ideological thing, like we have to save the planet, we have to save the ice caps and trees and that kind of stuff. No, like you have to look at the numbers and make data-driven decisions. So in that case, you are making proper decision, and the best thing is, like, when you face a similar kind of problem in the future, it's already sorted because we gave them the education.
Exactly. Nice. So Malinda, that was a perfect segment, Malinda. We did have some fun in between as well. All right, Malinda. So this brings us to the last, most final question of the episode. All right. Okay. Imagine I have a crystal ball in my hand. Okay. This crystal ball will show you how the world is going to look like in 2050. And our ideology of a completely digitized world has already been achieved. Now, if I pass this crystal ball onto your hand, what would you expect to see through it?
Right. The step number one would be like, yes, lots of things will be digital. I wouldn't say like everything. I'm not really sure our legal system will accept this thing for the next 100 years. Okay. So there are some reasons too. So they might still use papers, but lots of people will stop using papers. I am a completely paperless person, so lots of people will be like me. I read books on the phone or Kindle. Okay. So then lots of people will be paperless, and the legal system, I'm not really sure. And the other thing is, lots of people will use this increased productivity with the paperless system to generate more wealth. Yeah. So that'll happen for sure. So when the companies are making more wealth, the companies will be richer. Then the nations will be richer. Then The next step would be through this crystal ball I see, then companies are richer,
Oh.
then the employees are not very rich, then that's not a nice picture. So then the government will have to take steps. Not the government, maybe the company will figure out, like, okay, we have to solve this
Solve this
problem too,
problem as
solve
well.
this problem too, then there will be good employment benefits, and employees are not just employees, they own a share of the company.
Oh.
We are already seeing this kind of stuff in Canada and the Scandinavian countries, Australia, New
Happening,
Zealand.
yeah?
Already happening. So because like they are in that journey, so Sri Lanka also should go there. Then those things will naturally happen. Then the employees will get bigger salaries, better benefits, and right to disconnect. In our industry, right to disconnect is a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dream, but those kind of things will happen. Then people are richer, the nation is richer, then the government can get more taxes.
Oh,
Now it's
great.
not a huge deal.
Huge deal.
Yeah, not a huge deal, because
Yeah.
we can, like, okay, give some money to the government.
Government as well
Because-
for the
because-
upliftment of the country.
Yeah. Then the government can do useful stuff as well, give the people like a solid healthcare system,
Yes.
education system, high
Yes.
education system, maybe a public pension scheme and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So to do all of those things, we have to take the first step, make the organizations efficient, and generate more wealth through it.
Nice. I want to see that crystal ball too.
Actually,
It's amazing.
actually, it's already happening in lots of Scandinavian countries, Canada, and slowly happening. But I'm pretty sure that lots of countries will go there.
Perfect, perfect. So that was a fantastic picture that you just saw through the crystal ball that I just handed over to you. So that brings us to the last moment of this episode, Malinda. Thank you so much once again for taking time out of your life and being with us today and shedding so much light on so much interesting topic that we just discussed. And I'm pretty sure definitely our audience would have gotten like a lots of insights through this episode. And thank you very much, Malinda, once again.
Thanks for having me.
All right, people. So I'll be signing off, but definitely we'll be coming back with another industry expert to talk about, of course, the digital transformation and how it's high time that we all take the way forward by going digital. Until then, see you, tata, bye bye.